Got that?
In August 2012 we took on Norwich Market, we took over a stall there and actually built ourselves off a little physical outlet really.
It's a warmer sound than you get from CDs and MP3s. MP3s are really tinny, and then when you put the needle on a record and the sound comes out, it's just so much more bassy and warm and depthy.
Yeah, vinyl records a range of 20,000 different frequencies, most of which the human ear can't pick up. I know it's really cheesy, but it's what I call the soul of a record. When you put something on, you can feel something, or not necessarily put your finger on what it is, but it's something that's coming through that you can't audibly hear, but has an influence on your reaction to the music.
When a piece of music is recorded and is pressed onto vinyl, the original waveform of the music is maintained. So it's completely smooth. Everything you hear during the original recording is then transferred onto the vinyl version of the piece. But when a piece of music is digitised, often there's a huge amount of compression and the waveform is never smooth. It's always a digital representation of that waveform.
I really like the way vinyl sounds. I like that it's imperfect.
I loaned a friend of mine some money for a tattoo and he was like, well, I can't really pay you back, but I've got this old record player and this Operation Ivy 7-inch. It's yours if you want it. I was like, we'll call that even. And as soon as I dropped the needle, like that, there's that crackle and that hiss, and it's just like, it was like, yes, this forever. This is a revelation, and this is the way to listen to music.
You get to the end of side A and you think, oh, I've got to turn it over now. And it's annoying, but then there's a certain romance to it, you know?
It worked out that by a job lot for a reasonable price, there's normally some good records amongst that. What we actually do is we take people's collections and sell on their behalf. If they're not into their collections anymore, we take a few hundred at a time.
I used to love DJing on vinyl. It's really nice actually feeling the record. I feel there's something about actually buying the record as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like buying and holding the record. You spend hours in a record shop looking for whatever track you're after. Then like, when you sort of buy it on iTunes or Beatport or anywhere on the internet, it's sort of a little bit different. You don't actually have that record, you know. You're not actually holding it. You can't put it up on your wall. You know, like.
There was this store in Pittsburgh, but I was flipping through their 7-inches and I found an Extortion demo 7-inch. I yelled so loud. I was like, oh my God, that somebody that worked there came over and was like, sir, are you all right? And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I just like, you don't get that with, you know, even CDs that you find, or certainly not download. You don't scroll the internet and go, oh cool, I found this download. But so like, yeah, records is just like this thing of just going and flipping through and finding this really rare thing that you didn't even know existed.
Like MP3s, you kind of just put them on your iPod or on your iTunes and you flick through and it's not really physical.
There's a whole new generation that are appreciating the actual ownership of something physical.
You still get a bit of cover art and stuff like that, you get that. The physical thing in my hand, I guess there is a slight amount of paranoia that one day somebody will say, okay, we're not doing this anymore, and then all my record and all my collection will be gone. That does occasionally worry me, but I'm not that bothered about not having it physically in my hand.
I personally do not buy CDs. I have a very small CD collection, but I have a huge music collection. I get pretty much all my music off either YouTube or iTunes. I just don't have the space at home, and it's so much more compact and convenient to just put everything on my iPods.
I use iTunes to have music on. I don't tend to buy music on it.
I don't download anything, honestly.
He's
like,
internet phobic.
The thing is, yeah, like I'm really backwards with things. Like I don't own it. I don't even own an iPod. Somebody bought me an MP3 player years ago that like I put some songs on once.
I was quite lucky because I started off doing vinyl, so I started off like just playing around just before the whole CDJ, digital DJ thing really started to kick off noticeably in clubs. But the joy of doing it on like CDJs or digitally, it means all you have to take is a couple of CDs or a USB or your laptop to a gig as opposed to carrying around a big box of vinyl. So it makes it a little bit easier in that respect, but you sort of lose the feel of it at times.
I grew up listening to my sister's singles in the 70s. She was a punk in the 70s, and I just used to go into her room and listen to her playing her singles.
It's kind of a new thing, like it's something that I've just discovered myself. I kind of want to absorb everything about it. It's something that's like it's a new medium to me.
See artwork on actual vinyl now, which I get really excited about. They've combined sort of art with records.
It's nice to sort of feel part of something, you know. I mean, I don't know anybody who goes like, yeah, I have all these really great friends I met from iTunes, and it's like, oh, okay. All these people who meet on message boards and things, and then there's festivals.
Did I've ever bought a vinyl record? When I was growing up, my mum and dad had records, but I had tapes. I was a tape man. You know, you could record stuff off the radio and do tape to tape and make people compilation tapes and all that sort of stuff.
Firstly, I have no idea why people were buying tapes, because they were useless first time round. I think we're in this hipster phase at the moment. The reason for vinyl, I completely understand vinyl. When you download a piece of music from iTunes, which I've only ever done once, I found it very disappointing. To not have that physical format in your hands, it feels like you're lacking. It feels like you've been sort of like duped a little bit.
YouTube's good and MP3s are good because it's a way that you can look up stuff on the internet, see if you like it.
YouTube is a really good platform, not just for videos and content creators, but also for music. For a musician, it's just one viral video and you're pretty much sorted with your career. Everybody wants you. People like Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, they all started on YouTube.
I'm pretty sure that record labels now make more money out of Spotify and other streaming services than they make out of record sales. People use Spotify as a discovery tool. With smaller artists, I feel that it's a way to get them out there, to get people. I mean, I've listened to so many different artists on Spotify that I'd never heard of, and I would never listen to if I didn't have the opportunity to listen to them on Spotify. I'm not going to go to HMV and just buy random CDs.
I think CDs in a few years, you know, people won't be bothering about that 'cause it's just convenience. It's so easy just to get stuff off the internet or whatever. My laptop has crashed so many times. I've been entirely honest, I'm quite clumsy, and on my second night in the current club I work at, I managed to turn my laptop off because I wasn't paying attention. I pressed the off switch, so that went down badly. But I suppose that's a good thing about using digital, because I pretended that it just crashed. So I didn't look too much of an idiot, you know, when I was just starting out.
I think our youngest customer's 4.
Yeah, he's so cute.
Comes in with his mum. And we get, you know, your typical older generation coming in who've never bought anything else, still looking for, you know, the gems.
Yeah, we shop in sort of the record stores around. There's a lot of the stuff we like, unfortunately, isn't stocked.
Stuff ends up on eBay for just inflated prices. It's insane sometimes. Just like a 7-inch record with 3 songs. It's like $110, and it's like that's. But people pay it.
Well, a lot of like independent labels obviously won't be able to distribute to record stores in places like Norwich, which sucks.
I always go to vinyl shops. I wouldn't buy them offline or online because I think it takes away from like the whole process. I mean, that's part of the magic. Like if you just go on the internet and you click on or buy whatever, then it's just like buying a track off iTunes. I only know one guy in Norwich who still DJs on vinyls, but I know there's a fair few DJs around who still do that. I think vinyl coming back is a really cool thing. Like I think people are sort of going back to the roots of it. You know, like you've seen it quite a lot recently. Like people want Polaroid cameras again and all this sort of stuff. And I think vinyl's cool, but the big problem with vinyl in a lot of clubs is just logistical, because the bass and the sub-bass clubs now have that it will make the needle skip. If you think about it, if you've got like a busy dance floor and then the music keeps skipping, everyone's just going to think you're a joke. You can't exactly explain to them that, you know, it's just simple physics.
Vinyl sales have never deteriorated, apart from maybe, you know, the beginning of the 80s when they were thin and flimsy. I've never seen any other medium for music, apart from live. I think the only way you're going to beat a record is to go see the band live.